Here's a scene I hear about all the time. Your surgeon does an anterior hip replacement and someone hands you a paper on the way out the door. Don't bend your hip past 90 degrees. Don't sit in low chairs. Don't cross your legs. Sleep with a pillow between your knees for 6 weeks. Now you're home, you're terrified to move. And here's the thing. Most of those rules are not your rules at all. They belong to a different operation. Let me tell you why anterior approach for hip replacement is different. The anterior approach goes between the muscles in the front of the hip. The muscles and tendons at the back of the hip stay intact. And that back tissue is a big part of what holds the ball into the socket after hip replacement. So the hip is stable from the moment the surgery ends, which means you don't need the 6-week rule book. Anterior carries essentially one precaution for my patients. Avoid the far extremes of motion. The way I like to say it to my patients, don't put your ankle behind your head. That's basically the rule. Let me get specific about what you can do. You can sleep however you want to sleep. On your back, on your side, however you're comfortable. No special pillow required. You can sit in a regular chair. A recliner, a car seat, a couch, a low kitchen chair. You can bend over to tie your shoe right away. You can pick up anything off the floor you want to. You can cross your legs. You can even drive once you're walking steady with a cane, as long as you're off all narcotic pain medicine. And stairs, everybody navigates stairs before they leave the hospital or the ASC. So full weight bearing on the brand new hip from day one. The walker is for your balance, not because your hip can't take the load. And to be clear about the posterior approach, it's a good operation. It has its own reasons for those early precautions, but it goes through the muscles of the back of the hip. And if that's the operation you had, follow the rule book you were given. It just simply isn't the same rule book that you should have if you had an anterior approach. Now here's an earned irritation on my part. If you had an anterior approach and someone handed you that posterior approach precaution list, you may think, well, I might as well just be extra careful. Well, that's not true. Those are rules for a different operation. Carrying those rules don't necessarily make you any safer. It does make the recovery harder than it has to be. You need to get out. You need to move sooner, and don't be afraid of your hip. So 2 honest caveats. 1, every surgeon has their own comfort zone. If your surgeon gave you a specific short list of precautions, follow it. That's the person who fixed you. 2, no extremes of precautions doesn't mean no respect for surgery. This is still a major operation. Common sense stays common sense. Call your surgical team for a sign of a real problem, say a calf that suddenly is swollen or painful, a wound that's open or draining, a high fever, a pop with a lot of new pain that just feels wrong. Those matter. So here's how I want you to walk out of the hospital. Move, sit, sleep, and live. Just don't put your ankle behind your head. For more on what recovery looks like week to week, there's a companion article linked in the description. Thanks for watching.